Hello, everyone. Welcome to this read for the full moon in Libra. Um, yeah, it's good. I wanted to get this. Sorry, I got to look something up. Um, I wanted to get this video out last night, but just life and that. But I think it's kind of good because I'm gonna like putting this video up on the other side of it. So, um, leading up to this couple of weeks has just been really intense, finishing that eclipse season out and then, you know, trying to get back. Um, this is great that it's in Libra, right? The balance scales. And this moon is all about balance. So again, you know, this it's timeless in terms of it doesn't have to be done last night on the full moon, but now moving forward, the energy stays with us for the next few days for sure, maybe even a little bit further. So, um, I already knew coming into this what I was going to call the video. We're going to call it equilibrium. Let's talk about equilibrium. So, I'm going to read both of these things because it just makes sense. So, a state in which opposing forces or influences are balanced. Um, it can also represent a calm state of mind. So, yeah, I think it's just really important for us right now to be finding that balance. Again, not in the outside world, not with our friends, our family. This is all about self, right? So, kind of looking at, where you might be out of balance in your life and how you can balance that better. So, and this is really speaking like 100% energetically. So, we know that within our body we have that divine feminine and divine masculine. And so where are we throwing that out of balance in ourselves? Are we being maybe sometimes we're pushing ourselves too hard and aggressively and that more masculine kind of thing, or the complete opposite. We're being more, I don't want to say more feminine, but we're being more nurturing and giving away too much of ourselves to others. Like you can be get it is a fine balance. It's very difficult to keep. So it's really important that we're doing that. And it does factor into because Venus is also coming out of retrograde. So definitely it's calling on us to also we do need to find some balance in those relationships. I would say the biggest thing about relationships is the big push is if it's not serving you, then it's time to, lovingly release that, right? So but overall, the most important part that we need to be looking at, I feel, is our relationship with ourselves and how we can balance the those energies within us so that we feel in in equilibrium, right? In a nice plain state. And I think too, this moon is helping with that energy. So it's going to be easier for us to find that balance. So yeah. All right, let's go right to the cards for it. And then I'm going to use the portal cards, even though this isn't like moons don't tend to be portals, but I didn't get anything out for the 4-4, but it was a very powerful portal that day. So, anyway, some throwing cards everywhere. Okay, there's two, so I'm just gonna read these if I can get it. Yeah. Oh, there's three. Whatever. We're reading three portal cards for this moon. Okay, first up, we have anchoring, Earth star activation. So, grounded action, Isis energy. Just gonna put that down and we'll come back to it. Sacred inner space, sacral chakra, which we just worked on last week, tenderness, sensuality, Akashic records, clearing old stories, releasing past lives, and freedom. Yeah, so it's just, it's interesting though, because I was kind of hoping there was going to be the male counterpart in those cards because the Isis energy is very like that feminine energy, but she's actually interesting because I would consider her, I know she has a male counterpart. but I would say she is probably the more balanced of energy. She's got both balanced within her. She's very divinely feminine, but then very action orientated and grounded, and you know, so yeah, it's definitely, this is about us balancing that energy, so, and becoming, you know, this strong being. Not, we're not like labeling this again into male or female. It's the energies of masculine and feminine energy. So anchoring, grounded action, balance. It's balance. It's balancing those masculine and feminine energies this moon. All right. What else do we want to do? We're just going to go right to the moon cards because that's what we're going to do. What's this moon all about? What can we be doing to help ourselves balance energies? Hmm, interesting. Um, okay, well, it's okay. So the first step, this is kind of confusing, but I'll read into it here. Nothing will come of the situation. I don't think that means that, like, what, because I asked specifically, what are we supposed to do to kind of help us out with this moon? So this is the thing. The interesting thing that I'm getting is do nothing. Um, yeah, it's not going to help us to push or pull either way or try to make ourselves. The easiest way sometimes to find the balance is just to be still, and like there's a theory in massage and energy work and things, what we call the still point, back in the head here, which is also funny because it's also really your ultra major chakra, but that's a whole other thing to get into. But there's a moment when you are connecting into it. If the only way as a therapist to connect into it is you have to be very still and very silent and very, it's almost like you're just waiting outside the door and you've requested for it to come in, but you have to wait till they open the door for you, and that sometimes. So that's the kind of energy I'm getting with this. Is it's more, there's nothing to do or not do. It's just we need to go into those moments of silence and be present and just allow what's coming. And then we're just continuing on with the themes of these moons. You're very close to achieving your goals. I would say that's overall our overall goals, right? All of us. And the collective, I would say, more than it is an individual thing, but you might have some things that you're waiting for. And then we got expect powerful change. We're still in this new moon eclipse energy. Like it's great. It's really, it's really shaking stuff up, but it's helpful. So attaining balance. First step, do nothing. I think that's kind of true. Like, you can think about if you were like juggling or, you know, um, that there's also some grace in that if you have to find that balance. But if you're trying too hard, it upsets the balance, right? So it's almost like we just need to, like, it's almost like do less and we'll get more. So just finding ways to find that balance where like, so that you're putting yourself into that state of mind that's peace, that's grace, instead of like trying to like force yourself to get there. So it just really just says, like, it just for me centers more around more relaxing times, more rest, more deep meditation, introspection, all of those things. And just honestly, it just keep throwing cards on the floor. Is there three? And I'll throw three on the floor again. Anyway, we're gonna read those three in 1 second. So yeah, it's finding that peace. I think we're still in this integration phase where the energy keeps coming in, but we need to allow it to integrate within us. So, yeah, it's finding those moments to to just open yourself to the possibilities and say, okay, what what am I looking for? All right. Yeah, okay. Are these the three we had last time? It's funny that they all shot out. It's quite possible they did. Probably didn't get shuffled, but these were the three that like went flying to the floor. I know we've had these in the last couple of weeks. Well, it would only be on the moon reads, but okay. The web weaver, synchronicity, divine intelligence, cause and effect. Yeah, see, this is getting totally into this thing of like, it's not that we're not doing anything, but it's more like we need to like step back and give it up to baby Jesus. Sorry, that's terrible. But it's the thing is like we have to just give it up to the divine and um and see what comes, right? I feel like a lot of us right now are like it's not that like we're trying to force things to come to us and to happen and it's like nothing's happening and why can't we get this show on the road and it's like every single time we're saying those things we're putting out to the universe that it's like it's almost like oh like we're still not ready, we're still not ready, and so they're gonna deliver. So I feel like we're really being asked to just be the observer and be still and be quiet, let these answers come to us because they will. It's just that we have to trust the universe, and the universe will give the messages in the divine timing, right? So synchronicity, cause and effect. I think the cause and effect thing is like don't be struggling to get this balance because like if we're trying to force things to happen, we're going to cause something to happen and then there's an effect from that. So, like we almost don't want to be in that energy. It's like just have to go with the flow and allow. It's always that word, allowing things to happen. So, and there's a lot of synchronicity at play. Again, in one of the other decks, there's, I think it's in Kyle Gray's deck, he doesn't call it coincidences, he call it God incidences. So it's just like there are no coincidences. There's completely divine timing. Um, and I feel like we're just getting this thing to like keep us in balance, we need to stop pushing so hard to get things happening. They are happening every day. They happen in divine timing, and we have to be more trusting of that because we also have to like it's come up in other reads this last couple of weeks too about we have to trust our that and that timing and because if we're also not being silent and listening we're not hearing all the answers all the time, and they are coming through, right? All right, we got the Swan Queen as well. Transformation, intuition, patience. Yeah, it's just like, okay, things are in motion. Don't don't despair that nothing's happening. Don't try to force things to happen, and we just need to be patient and I wanted to say ride this out. It's kind of just like let this play out. Don't try to change things and don't try to you know put it's also about putting that much pressure on yourself because as soon as we start doing that it's just like we're just like making ourselves ripe for disappointment because we can't I can't speed up divine timing. um, and again, the intuition thing is really important there. Again, we've talked about this over and over the last few weeks, months, is that if we're not our gifts are coming online, but if we're not listening to them or paying attention to them or starting to utilize them and allowing them to integrate, we we're just like the thing we see is that nothing's happening. But that's not true. That's like couldn't be further from the truth. Everything is happening all at once. What's that movie? Everything all at once? Is that what it's called? Where it's bending space and time and yeah, it's all happening. It is happening right now. So just the big message I think is the transformation is completely in progress. Keep working on things like what our job is in this is to develop our intuition and to be listening. That is our job and to have patience because it's coming. Here's the other, I love this card. The High Lord of Gratitude and Service, Selflessness, Humility, Conscious Action. Now, now that I said like do nothing, but conscious action is a really different thing because I can guarantee you, if we're sitting in those moments of meditation and tapping into our intuition and getting the answer will come about what conscious action we can take at the time. Like I said, 90% of I think what we're supposed to be doing is just we're supposed to be holding the energy and the space for it to like envelop us, but also just unfold. It's in the process of unfolding, right? There's the white lotus of enlightenment. Um, it's the light is streaming in to unfold that, to bloom it basically. But like, again, we don't like take a flower and put it through some kind of magical process so that we can make it open. Like, it's like spring right now. This all takes time. Is there a bug on my? It's like, it all takes time, you guys. We can't force the buds on the tree to open, right? It needs the right calculation of all things, moisture, the sun, the warmer weather, right? Spring doesn't just like turn on like a light switch. Neither does this enlightenment process, right? It's a nice, slow, natural, right? Nature moves in its own pace, but the glorious part is that at the end you get this beautiful blooming scenery. So yeah, I think the big thing is like don't give up hope and keep going back to like watching it unfold, and we've got to have patience for that, like 100%. Like there's just no other way to get around that one. All right, what else? What other these ones I usually take as advice cards for this moon. Yeah, so I mean the really nice part is if you're doing ceremony for the moon, either in the next couple days, you just need to just be silent and listen. Be at peace. The other thing. Oh, and that's the other thing too, because it just came up in this card, but I'm just gonna go back to this for a second. Gratitude, right? We've got to have that, and this I'm gonna say it, and I really like want to stop myself right now because it's so cheesy, but the attitude of gratitude. We have to have it, you guys. It's part of what manifests stuff. So if we're just being, you know, down in the dumps and complaining about everything, we're just going to get more of it. That's how it works. So it is just like if we're going to have moments of clarity to manifest something new, is just be grateful for everything that we already have, right? Grateful that spring is here, that there is a moon tonight, that so that it can light up the sky and we can see, the stars or all those fun things. Yeah. Okay. So first up, advice wise, is let your fears dissolve. That's kind of a nicer process than like letting them go, right? Let's just start to focus on like, yeah, like we can just let them melt like the winter and just dissolve and be reabsorbed into the earth for transformation. So yeah, as soon as, because I think that's what, obviously we're human beings. So as soon as like stuff feels like it's not happening and there's not a lot of momentum or things are just seem to be getting worse, is that we go into that fear-based place and it's really difficult to get out of it. And then we end up manifesting a little bit more of it. It's just super critical right now that you know, it's so important that we're being easy with ourselves in this process and just take a breath and take a moment and just enjoy what we've got. It's all going to be fine. It's all going to be fine. Make time for self-love. This is the one, like, this is the, like, really important thing too. Like, this is probably the best advice card we can do is right now under the moon is, again, just being at peace, meditating, and I would say like that hand positioning is the gratitude hand positioning. I thank you for everything I have, and I ask that, we continue this abundance of love and of light. Yeah, I focus on the positive. Gratitude, 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 gratitude. Um, yeah, and then we got work. What does that say? Work through your feelings. Yeah, I mean, again, we're not whitewashing stuff and like just be like, oh, I don't feel this and I feel sad yeah, we do. Let's feel those things. But again, it's like we've said every other time. Make sure you're moving through it. um, and like I really just get the sense because I've been in this place myself this last couple weeks, like quite badly. Is putting a lot of pressure on myself be better and it's like yeah I want to make those changes and I do want to reinvent myself but there we have to start putting so much pressure on ourselves and we have to be nicer to ourselves. I know we're not, like a lot of us are being quite harsh. Our harshest critic is ourselves. So if we want to balance those energies we have to both nurture ourselves and take action when necessary. But I feel like at this point, the balance only comes when we sit in equilibrium, which is in the middle. So we sit in the middle um, and weigh both sides out. But this isn't a process where it should be stressful or anything. It's just like letting things settle and seeing what's out there, what's in the plane, what is in the field for us. Yeah, I think we're just being too gung ho and sensitive, and then a lot of us are doom scrolling still. Anyway, okay, three more advice cards, and then we'll leave it there. Okay, okay, yeah, I'm gonna take. It's actually four. Okay, so these are the things we've been just talking about. So it is really important. So staying in integrity. This is like this is what I'm talking about like not being so mean to ourselves and like focusing more on the goal ahead, right? Instead of what everything that's wrong or any of that kind of focus. So, we all know what down the line what we need and what we want. So it's really important that we're like focusing on that and that we're staying the course of being in authentic and in integrity of like having this goal come to be. So we can't just like keep giving it up and that because it's not working out, right? So it's really important. Our mindset is just like, okay, we're working on this. Um, just we're gonna let it flow. Uh, we do have the protection card, so I do want to say this is a really good quick thing. Is like, and again, not to put us into fear or living in fear, but there definitely is a lot of low vibe energy that is mucking around right now. In particular, they seem to trying to get light workers off their game. So again, I always equate this to the funny thing, right? Unless you're really down in the dumps and like they're really getting you with addiction or any of those things. Um, but I always just equate those energies to um, like mosquitoes. They're pretty harmless unless you let them, you know, get you. So, um, just do your best right now. Make sure when we are meditating, when we're going to sleep, because a lot of this, like we're working our butts off in the night and it's a lot, but like still be throwing up your protections and asking for your guidance from your guides and all your people because what we really need to do is be focused on um, making sure that like we've got our armor on and nothing's getting through it. There's no chinks in the armor or anything like that. So um, yeah, just make sure you're just doing your due spiritual diligence of putting up your protections, having your team around you, your guides, your angels. And I think a lot of the times too, like I noticed today, um, I just I feel like I went through last week and I did nothing good spiritually in terms of like I wasn't I wasn't paying attention or minding it. And it definitely throws me off. So it's really important to like, it's like taking a shower every day if you do like whatever, or brushing your teeth or whatever. It's like make sure you throw your protection on before you head out of the house because the world is it is in upheaval right now. It's supposed to be, but you know, let's not let these little lower energies get to us and take us out because we do have an important job. Um, so yeah, just more focus on that. We also got watch for signs. So again, they're everywhere and they're trying to get through to us. So keep watching. And the last card we got for for this moon is the abundance card. Again, the attitude of gratitude. I hate to say it. I am calling this video equilibrium though. So it's just so critical right now that we're minding those things because I think what's happening is like we're not um it's what's we are allowing certain energy to throw us off because there's just so much going on um that we're just not being as attentive of ourselves and some of us are out there worrying too much about everybody else and like we need to be the best example before we can help other people, so it's really important and really critical that we're doing those kind of things. So all right, let's finish this read with, we'll do the golden futures and we'll leave it there for the moon. But like I said, yeah, it's like, honestly, I just get the feeling like the best thing we can do is do these silent meditations, going within, asking our guide team, like, what do I need to do to be in a better spiritual balance? And then listening for the answers, because I really feel like they're there. They're there giving them to us for sure. What? Making a mess. Hmm. Okay, well, there's a little bit about. Okay, so we got leadership and decisions. This is out, the outside world is happening right now. What I want to say is just, it says make choices for the highest good of all. Obviously, we're not there yet, right? That system's not in place. We're in a very divided system still. Um, there's lots of talk though about that there's two different timelines and it is going to be a choice. Um, I choose to move to this kind of governing system. Notice I didn't say government, I said governing. It all has to change. We know that the old system has to go, but we'll see how that works out. So I'm just getting with this. It's really interesting. It's like just everybody there holding hands. Looks like in silence, in peace. So yeah, that might not be in place yet, but it's this to me is more saying it's coming. This, fear not, like literally fear not. This the shift is happening. So yeah, and we also got the golden cities. Live ecologically and harmoniously. Yeah, these are the golden future. It is coming, and it may not feel like that right now because it's just so much going on. Um, and it doesn't seem like any of the new systems are in place. I do believe they're probably running underneath or on the other timeline. And so once we're ready to kind of do the shift to that timeline, and that's, again, that doesn't all happen at once necessarily, but it can happen individually. Um, once we get into that peace of mind. But yeah, those systems are going to take a while to come in. But I feel like these cards are definitely saying, like, don't worry. It's it's a foregone conclusion. It's already happening. And that's maybe why like we need to stop with the worry. And that did come up in there, right? Setting the fears aside is because they're just trying to say, like, just go within and rest and listen and don't push too hard and don't but also don't be too like fearful and soft and hiding. It's really important we're finding our own balance in this right now. So the last card we got is the unicorns. Like I said, I don't generally work a lot with like dragon energy. I know a lot of people do, and that's awesome. I tend to work more with this energy, the unicorn energy. Spread the light of the unicorns. This is as simple as calling them in, like calling that energy in when if you're having that moment of doubt or fear or giving up or just being not nice to ourselves. Call the energy of the unicorns in. You may not ever see anything physically, um, but it will definitely change how magical things are in your life for you, right? So if you're particularly if you're having trouble manifesting or getting things moving, that's like bring them in and they're great at helping with that. So, yeah, bring in that unicorn energy. Okay. But whatever you do this moon, sit in silence, find ways to get back into balance within, whatever that looks like to you or means to you. But just really, it's time for us to find that balance. Because I said this to a friend yesterday, and it's really resonating. I think we're just in a really difficult position at the moment because, again, a lot of the structures for the new and everything are not in place or anchored in, but they are coming. And so we're just kind of like, we just are like, what are we supposed to do? And up until now, we've done a lot of work. And so that's why I was getting that thing of like, it's just okay to rest and observe right now. Um, but just make sure you're keeping yourself ready because I feel like it's not going to be long before we're needed to do the job we came to do. So, um, and what that looks like, we don't know, but I have a feeling the remembering will be swift and easy. We will remember so quickly, and then it'll be boots on the ground. So it definitely is coming. We just again patience. I know everyone loves that word. I hate that word. That's one of the things I just can't do sometimes. All right, take a breath. Enjoy this moon. Find your balance. I know you can do it, and I love you. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you for the week read and come work on your solar plexus.